Welcome to the Two Posh Podcast.
I am Gabrielle. I'm a former New York Mafia princess, originally from Austria. I am the mother of 3 and the owner of Two Posh Boutique, and here with my beautiful co-host, Marcella, my daughter.
Hello, I'm Marcella. I'm a dancer, choreographer, model, and designer for Two Posh, and I say whatever the I want.
Hi, my name is Cruz. I am a stylist. I also own the Society Salon in the Design District, and I am a short little Mexican with a big personality.
What will they say next? Welcome to the Two Posh Podcast.
So what are you doing now? What is the next record you're breaking?
What are you doing? Are you creating like a mushroom something?
The thing I'm probably most proud of is biotech research I do with Via Christi Hospital in Wichita, Kansas.
What are you doing?
Cold lasers, 635 nanometer red light, are the same basic light if you go to White Rock Lake and watch the sunrise. At the morning sun and at the evening, you see the red light. So the longer wavelengths of light go through the atmosphere. The shorter wavelengths like UVA that cause cancer bounce off. The higher the sun gets, the more of that X-ray and all the bad radiation comes through. So my doctor told me I had a vitamin D deficiency, and that's why my heart was enlarged.
I think everybody has a bit of a vitamin D deficiency.
And she said it's because we spend too much time inside. And even when you're in the car, it has UV block. You need UVB to create vitamin D.
Wow.
So I started asking about these cold lasers when my mother-in-law got cancer, and she actually died of pneumonia because chemo kills your white blood cells. Yeah. I heard that Lance Armstrong was using these lasers to help him recover when he was winning all those Tour de France's. The people that make that laser were in McKinney. Konya.
Really?
Wow.
So I went up there and asked the president, Steve Shanks, do you believe these could help cancer patients? Because if what happens is red light helps you produce 28 ATP per glucose rather than 2 you would produce normally. And my doctor told me I need to get more morning sun when she said I had a vitamin D deficiency. And my grandmothers were Choctaw. They both would go out and sit on the porch on the side with the sunrise, and they would always tell me, let's go outside and get some sun before the sun gets too high. I never knew what they meant, but Dr. Nani is my primary care doctor. She's African. She said, we've forgotten a lot of things we always knew. So I also have an acid stomach. Vitamin D pills get burned up in my stomach. The vitamins I eat in my diet, I don't absorb because it gets burned up in my stomach. So if I don't get the morning sun, literally, it could kill me.
What?
And so I called my friend, Dr. David Bryant, who is a cyberknife surgeon at Via Christi. He was my roommate at Brown. And I said, do you think cold lasers could help your cancer patients? And he said, what is a cold laser? So I actually asked Steve Shanks to call him, the president of Erconia. They sent him an $80,000 cold laser, which was first certified for non-invasive body sculpting.
Right.
So what does the cold laser look like? Is it, because I think of like
So
blue lights.
There's a lot
like
of different ways. Basically, a low intensity light that doesn't generate heat and it's red. So there's different versions of it. There's ones you could wear in a hat to help you grow hair.
Yep.
Dentists use them for pain management.
Yep.
The first thing Erconia got one was for shoulder and neck pain. And then they got one because it also, when you start burning ATP, opens up the pore in your fat cells and liquefies your fat. So literally, I lost 40 pounds sleeping under this thing. And then I wrote a paper called Reversing Left Ventricular Hypertrophy. And I essentially determined it was the same thing as athlete's heart. Because I was an athlete. Your heart, they say the average life expectancy of an Olympic athlete is 58. Well, the average life expectancy of a Fortune 500 executive is also 58. So if you just stress yourself out and you don't have the vitamins and the material your body needs to heal, you just continually develop these corticosteroid impulses in your brain. Corticosteroids cause high blood pressure. High blood pressure makes your heart work too big. It gets swollen up like a bodybuilder that doesn't work out anymore. And so your heart gets all limp and stuff.
Wow.
But if you give your body the things it needs to heal,
Sure.
and vitamin D is the number one thing. Every cell has a vitamin D receptor. What we figured out, it helps people recover from, because what he does is break up DNA, but the X-ray will go through your whole body, so it kills healthy cells too. That generates pain signals in your brain. People crave pain medicine. You get addicted to pain medicine, you die. It also lowers your immune functions. But when we started using this cold laser after he treats them, we're getting 80% of patients through an 8-week protocol with no breaks and no pain medicine. The same protocol, most people drop treatment after 2 weeks because of pain.
Interesting.
Wow.
Is this the same as like red light therapy?
There's so many different things on the market now, it's hard to say.
Oh,
this
okay.
is 635 nanometer red light. Now there's also
635.
635 nanometers.
Interesting.
Now UVB would be like 230 nanometers. UVA is like 140 nanometers.
Yeah.
You get down below like micro nanometers, you're talking about X-ray light.
Yeah.
So everything on the electromagnetic spectrum, what I theorize is everything is in the sun.
Yeah, no, for the different types of the UV lights and all that stuff, depending on you can do stuff for anti-aging.
Yeah,
You
like
do it for-
reptile lights,
Yep.
UVB lights that you put on your snake. You do that for 15 minutes, your body will produce more vitamin C. And doctors will prescribe that for patients.
What is it?
A UVB, they call them reptile lights.
Yeah, there's different light systems you can buy. Like
I love the red light
Yeah,
stuff.
when we had our clinic, our regenerative medicine
Yeah.
clinic, we do stem cell therapy on our patients. And what part of the
Oh, yeah.
protocols is on top of the whole idea is when somebody is having like cartilage issues or like arthritic issues or hip or shoulders or something. What we were doing is we do stem cells. We pull the stem cells out of their hip. We concentrate it down, re-inject it. But on top of that, because as we age, you got to look at the viability, how strong your cells are, because at 60, 70, 50, whatever.
Their cells go into cyanosine,
Correct, right?
apoptosis,
Correct. And
cellular death.
Yeah. And so that's
They're
the thing.
basically dead cells.
Correct. So that's how viable, how strong they are. So what we did to help encourage
That
patients.
too.
Well, basically what he's saying
Bernie
is.
Raphael, please continue.
So basically what he's saying is.
Sheena's like, I'll dumb it down for the later in the car.
So here's the thing. So basically.
I don't understand either.
So look. So think about it this way. Basically, like for example, I'm getting gray. I'm getting gray hair. My
Okay.
body's not producing melanin as much. Right, the hair color. That's why it's getting gray. So the cells that go into producing the black hair, brown hair, it's dying. It's not producing it. So the viability, how strong they are, is lessened, and that's what he's talking about here. So some of the things we were doing is we would put our patients on like a whole food plant-based diet. And the reason is because we wanted to create what's called vasodilation. So we wanted to allow the arteries to open up more, and the correct foods like spinach, arugula, kale, beets is one of the biggest things. And so when you ingest that, your body processes it, and inside the cell wall, it's called the endothelial cell wall, and all that means is it opens it up. So you get more blood flowing. However, if as we age, you don't have good content, dense micronutrients on a cellular level, you may get more blood flowing, but the food that's in the blood, it's not as potent. So what we were doing is we would have our patients eat foods that were high in nitric oxides so that it's causing vasodilation, but also because the foods were like really dense in micronutrients, you're getting vasodilation, but it's being filled with really, really strong, dense micronutrients on a cellular level to feed the cells and all that stuff. Top of that, we would use red light and blue light therapy because it would reduce inflammation and it would help. It would help with the joint pain. I know it was a lot to say, but I'm following. Yeah.
What is that?
What Dr. Bryant told me is that there are 2,000 cancer trials a year, and 1 or 2 actually work, and the one that I came up with actually worked. And the hard thing is actually proving why or how it works. So having a method for analyzing whether it works all the time, sometimes with some people, everybody, or why, is important. But that's the reason I developed what's called the Savage Matrix. And it's based on performance status. What happens is the healthier you are when you enter any disease state, like you get cancer, heart disease, diabetes, anything, 20 pounds overweight doubles your chances of mortality. So if you're in shape to run a marathon, your chances of survival are a 5. If you are like 200 pounds overweight, your chances are a 2. And so I developed this multidisciplinary approach to treating, like what you're saying. You can't just open vascular. So 635 nanometer light also helps increase microcirculation. Right. But what Dr. Bryan and I figured out, if your diet is skewed, it still won't help.
Correct.
If you go home and your husband and you are at each other's throats all the time, it's not going to save your life because you're still producing corticosteroids. Those corticosteroids are actually what are killing you.
Yeah.
Like stress.
So your environment, stress kills way more than this vodka I'm going to drink.
That's true. I mean, because when your heart rate is up and you're stressful and you're just pumping, it's good. The blood is flowing. So if you've ever seen a hose, right? When you're kids and you would take your thumb and you put that in the hose, it'd go psst.
Yeah.
There's no difference.
I still
in your
do that.
arteries, right? But but think about it. If your diet is shit, and you can develop over the course of time what's called arthrosclerosis, which is just plaque buildup in the arteries.
They harden up.
So our arteries are typically, if they're healthy, they will open up. They will vasodilate. There's an elasticity to them. But if you have a hard shell inside of gummy like plaque, now the blood is flowing, but it's only flowing through a smaller portion because that hardens up. It doesn't open up vasodilation. So you got stress.
And it's just like a sewer line. Yeah. Once you start having a clog, like tissue gets stuck or a tampon gets stuck, everything starts backing up behind it, and then that's when you have a heart attack.
Yeah, and what ends up happening
because it backs up to the point it closes.
Heart attacks come from tampons?
Damn straight. That's right. What ends up happening is you can start getting where you can get blood clots. Is that endothelial, that wall and the plaque around it, as the blood is pushing through it, it can eventually take the plaque. It slows it down, but it can also start tearing the lining in there and clogging. So as it's ripping off the lining,
and it starts to clot, and then the clot breaks away, and then that blocks a valve.
Then you're fucked.
And we all die. No, I'm kidding. So do you wake up? You wake up before the sun every day. Is that
4 a.m., 4 a.m.
What time do you go to bed?
9.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I don't go to bed that early, but I get up at 4:30 every day. But I also, just so you know what I do, funny you brought this up because I have this like $10,000 light system that I've had it since I had my clinic. And I literally wake up in the morning. I have it set. I have my own little like system set up. So I have one. I have an one that goes over my whole
mind
face.
Is blown right
I have like one. It's like a square pad. So what I will do first thing in the morning is I'll get up, use the bathroom, come back in bed, and then I will throw the eye patch on, and it's blue light. And I mean, I throw it into my entire. So I have like 10 different pads. I have one here. I have one here. I have them everywhere. I do it every single morning.
This is the small handheld Erconia laser. Yeah. I'm using it to heal a hamstring tear from playing tennis.
Will this heal my disc herniation?
So there's a lot to it, right? If you can get also infrared lighting, it helps cause vasodilation also. So it's going to help.
You asked what that one looks like. The one I gave Via Christi is this one. This is an $80,000 laser.
Yeah.
Now what happens is the light pulses at 10 milliwatts, so it's low level, but it penetrates up to 6 inches. And with what he's saying, your cells begin to die and go into apoptosis. It actually helps open up the copper. Actually helps open up fat the fat cells. The fat becomes foamy, and it's more usable by your cells.
Yeah.
So when you're producing 28 ATP per glucose, your cells can actually regenerate and produce new cells. Then you go into phagocytosis. Your body starts killing off and removing those old dead cells. So even no matter what you do, every 7 years, we replace every cell in our body. So what you have to remember when you talk about anti-aging is basically combating the things that you do differently in your lifestyle that you didn't do when you were 19. Like, we sit all day. When you're in high school, you get up every 45 minutes and walk, right? And you're in sports and you do a lot of other things. But the older you get, you lose those habits and those lifestyle habits. And the less you do of those things that kept you young when you were young, the faster you age, essentially.
I believe that 100%. Oh.
Wow.
Keep going.
Oh, okay. Our girls are here. Ow.
You gonna knock her out with them boobs?
Shut up,
That's a
Marcella.
hanky
Keep going.
titty right there.
I'm off the chair. That's very interesting.
Dude, that's really cool, man. It's funny because I mean, I love talking clinical conversations like that, so it's cool. I don't get to. I mean, it's a cool conversation. I really appreciate it.
I was totally vibing off everything you said.
Likewise.
And thank you for your contribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bernie usually has those talks with me.
I know. Gino speaks over my head. I'm like, what?
I go a little
Slow down,
too fast.
Gino.
Sorry.
I'm
no.
gonna hurry up and leave before he starts asking me about my diet. Like, look, do what I say, not what I do.
Dude, that's funny.
Well, I'm just curious about, I mean, I do believe like the body can heal itself. I feel like.
You have to.
Absolutely.
It can 100%, but I definitely.
I'm
think,
also a certified yoga instructor, and so
I did that this morning.
When you do yin yoga, Tao yoga is a yoga you can do sitting in your chair. Grandmaster Mantak Chia developed this yoga for your organs that you do while you're sitting in a chair. And he said, basically, you're just going to wag your tail. Like your tail.
I wag my tail every day.
all the time. You've seen her Instagram.
Look, y'all, we can be friends. I ain't tripping.
Marcella wagged your tail.
I can DM.
You've been doing yoga this whole time.
But no,
I gotta help myself somewhere. Shit.
the point is that it's
so
all
funny.
designed to help your body heal itself.
Yeah.
That's all what it's about.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And I think that I think some of the most important part of the whole thing, as far as the body healing, is you have to have the right nutrition. You have to.
Absolutely.
Most people, it drives me insane. People who are healthy that eat just total shit. It's
But
like,
they drive a Porsche. They
Yes.
don't put regular
They
oil
put
in it. You
87
know
in
you
there.
got to have synthetic
That's
oil
right.
in a Porsche, baby.
Yes.
So why are you putting this garbage
That's right.
in your belly?
I always use the car analogy all the time. It's like you're
I've
driving a
seen
Ferrari,
that
you
on
put
TikTok
shit in
a few
there.
times.
Yeah.
So is it bad if I eat hot tamales every once in a while?
no,
No,
those are
everything's
good for you.
okay every once in a while.
It's
for
like
sure.
you were saying, have a Twinkie. Well, you were saying spend a little of the money you make when you make
Yeah.
money. And my financial advisor told me, whenever you make a big whack, get a Twinkie, have a Twinkie.
You got to reward yourself.
You
son.
do, and then you don't feel like you got to spend it all.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if you hold back, you're going to start itching, and then you're going to dump it all on the first dumb thing you see.
I
It's
love
like
that.
going to the grocery store hungry.
Oh.
Always,
Worst
I
thing.
just
always-
did that
Worst
on
thing ever.
Sunday.
always
Worst thing
have
ever.
a snack
Biggest mistake.
before you go to Walmart.
I don't think you necessarily.
I regret it.
You're like genetically gifted. I mean, I know that about you. You can kind of eat whatever you want.
No, but I went to the grocery store hungry, and
And
now I
you bought
regret it.
everything, right?
Yeah, because I'm not even gonna eat it all. I don't know why I
This
bought
is the
that.
thing. That's life.
See, I'm good now about not doing that, but I learned a long time ago. Don't go to the grocery
You could
store.
do
when you're hungry.
Instacart. My mom does that.
What is Instacart?
Well,
I do
they
that
bring it out
hungry
to
and-
you.
They bring
Oh
it
no
out to
shit.
you.
Yeah.
Bring it
I
right
mean,
to my door.
I'm so I'm so regimented on my diet. Like I
You always are.
I'm anal.
Always.
Like I look at which can of chicken noodle soup I want. I'm like, that one's dented. No. That one's dusty.
You fancy. You fancy. All right.
I'm bougie,
Bougie
bitch.
like that.
Raphael,
Wow.
I learned so much
I
today.
want
No
to
doubt.
know what else is there that you want to tell us about you, or are you ready to go to our segments? We do segments for fun.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm done with myself.
I
I
have
think
one
I'm
question.
over me.
Oh, Gino has a
Oh,
quick
Gino has a
question.
question.
When do you receive your Nobel Peace Prize?
You know what's funny? I love the analogy that Albert Einstein.
Well, I thought that was your last name this whole time sitting here. So.
Albert Einstein was asked the question, how does it feel to be a genius? And this is when he was receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. And he said, genius is the ability to think inhabitually. The belief that the desires of your innermost heart, those are the desires of all men. That is true genius. So when will you be receiving your Nobel
You
Prize?
give me
I
like
feel like there should be a bell.
Yeah.
So you tell me. I'll ask you the same question.
I think we're out of time.
So we got the question. What is it now? The
let's
question of
do
the day, or-
question
yeah.
of the day first.
Oh.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
Raphael Einstein. Is it better to date someone you think is out of your league, or would you rather be equal/better looking?
Absolutely out of my league. I ain't trying to date me. I'm ugly.
Oh my God.
Not even God likes ugly.
But he's rich, ladies. But he's rich. All right.
Hey.
He's rich.
Trophy wives come with the territory, bro.
Dude, there's nobody's out of anyone's league. There's just not. That's not truth. There may be some better looking people than whatnot, but it's
Is
all.
that your answer?
I think
Fuck yeah,
Jay-Z
there's no one
said
better.
it best.
There's no one out of my league, and that's
I
not
think-
arrogant. It's just
It's so
it's
confident.
perspective. It's you got to have a good perspective on life.
I think Jay-Z said it best. I'm not beautiful. I'm a billionaire.
Aww.
Which
I mean,
makes
that
him
is
very
true.
beautiful to most women. 'Cause he is not the prettiest guy,
He's never been cute.
but he has always been rich.
His mama
He's always been
didn't
rich.
even say this.
He's always been very, very rich. So,
His mama used to try to hide him. Yeah, no, I ain't got no kids.
so funny.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I love Jay-Z. Don't shoot me.
Nah, I don't think-
Gino, what's your answer?
Well, Jay-Z's a sponsor of the show. He was.
He was a sponsor, so no more.
We'll call Kanye. Nobody likes him anymore.
A sponsor for sure.
He needs something to do.
Gino, what's your answer?
I don't know. I feel like if you perceive the person out of your league and they do the same, then you're both constantly going up for one another, and it keeps it without getting
But-
stale.
I mean,
So you're saying you would do that?
what would be out of your
So you're
league?
saying
Like,
that's a
how do
good
you?
thing.
What? Like that's very subjective. But like,
Yeah.
what are you saying is out of your league? Because
I could not. I don't want to date a guy that's like so pretty. Like I wouldn't like that.
Leo.
Because
That-
you're
that's
too
what you
pretty.
call your
That's
league?
like competition.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't want to be. I don't want him to be that good looking.
so then I guess the better
'Cause
way to
that's-
phrase the question is: would you date someone who's dramatically better looking than you? Because I don't think there's because I think it's if you're someone who's successful, you have a great career, you have money in the bank, you maybe rich, you have a great vibe about you have great style about you, like what's the upgrade from there in that sense?
I don't know. I don't know if we're just talking about like looks or
Yeah,
what you. I guess what you perceive.
that's what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, Mom.
Your husband's
kinda-
very
Yeah.
good looking, by the way. So
I know.
I'm like Bernie. I like that analogy best, actually.
Yeah.
That there's no one out of your league. I mean, kind of.
You have to be like. What
'Cause
is
think
it?
of how many-
Manifestation, I guess.
think of how many good looking people you met that you're like,
Oh,
they're
it's the
so
personality.
ugly. They're
for
so
sure.
unattractive
Yes.
and they may be really beautiful.
But see,
But,
I think that where we go wrong on relationships in general, and this is something Dr. Doris, my friend in Innsbruck, she's a professor of philosophy, kindergarten, philosophy of learning for children. I asked her this, why is it that I feel like I'm always alone? She's like, are you what you want? Because you have to be what you want. So if what you want is someone that is very intelligent, very athletic, and will talk about anything under the sun and isn't scared to communicate, then that's what you go for. But maybe you end up going for someone not necessarily like you, maybe not as strong intellectually because she's really pretty is what she was getting at.
Yeah.
And so what she said is there's 3 types of love: soul love, mind love, body love, and BMS love, all 3. So soul love is, she says she's my soul lover. She loves my soul. We don't have a physical relationship, but we vibe off of each other. Like, she just feels my energy. I feel her energy. We can talk for hours. We've known each other 12 years. We've only seen each other twice. So, but we still talk every day. And we have what she says is a soul love. She also has a mind lover who's another professor in Italy. He's a professor of philosophy, and they go to coffee shops and they vibe off of philosophy stuff, but they don't have a physical relationship. She also has a body love. That's lustful. That's just someone she likes to
Sorry, the mic cut out.
But then she has her BMS lover, who's her husband, who's a pharmacist, who's brilliant, who's good looking. He has all 3. So he has the soul strength that she knew he would be a great dad. He has the mind strength that they can vibe off each other mentally. And he's good looking physically, takes care of himself. He has the right diet, all those things. He is what she is, basically.
Wow,
So now,
that's interesting.
does she have? So hold on.
So
she
her
has
them
BMS
all at once?
and she's married.
I'm saying Austria is a different place. Bail me out here.
No, she won't. I know she agrees with
Europeans.
that. I know she agrees with that. Like, I don't.
Okay,
I don't
we're going to skip forward to the part that you understand we're talking about love. And there's the rule to me in love is if you're both cool with it, then that's what's cool.
Sure.
Because you can call it swinging, whatever you want to call
Well,
it. But
no, it's different. If they're into
if
that
people
thing,
people are happy together and they're honest with each other, and they're doing things together honestly with each other, I feel like who's to judge?
I think if they know what's going on and they're honest and they're cool with that, that's different. If someone is fucking someone behind someone's back, that's a fucked up thing.
Yeah, I
my
absolutely agree. And so would she agree.
Yeah.
And she would also agree that most people don't think the way she does, that
sure.
you should be honest about those things. Like, you should tell your soulmate, your husband, your BMS lover that I want to have sex with this guy because he's cute.
Now,
I'm not saying I think you're hot.
thank you.
But he'd fuck you. All right. Okay.
I'm not. It won't be cheap. I might charge you.
Jumped.
I bet charge you.
Look, baby.
He said I'm getting jumped.
That's so funny.
Kendrick Lamar wrote this song. This dick ain't free.
Gino. Gino's like, I don't know what to say.
I'm broke. I don't know.
I have no more money.
Well, save up, baby. Next
The way
Christmas.
my bank
There's
account
always
works is,
Christmas. There's always Christmas. When's your birthday?
Dude,
Don't have one.
Okay.
I don't celebrate birthdays.
I'm not gay. I'm sorry. I'm just messing with you.
That makes 2 of us, brother.
Don't get nervous.
No,
You ain't
I love,
got to
I love my
hate.
time here.
You know there's a queen lurking under there somewhere.
Dude, that is the funniest thing. That just made my day.
We all have a girl in us, man. If you don't have a girl inside you, you can't understand girls.
I am totally lesbian. Totally.
Oh my God.
For sure.
All right.
Now we're on the same page.
We're going to the gossip segment. We don't have our intro, but I'll find it later. And so, do you have any gossip for us?
Gossip. Well, I sent you a picture of me with President Bush Sr.
Yeah.
I have another picture with my secretary, who's really pretty blonde like her. And President Bush Sr. had his hand on her ass while we took that picture. And she was so proud, and she told her husband that, and he asked her to quit her job. And I'm just like,
Understandably,
because
I mean,
he's like, he thinks this type of thing is okay, and he didn't defend your, whatever honor.
Why
blah,
didn't
blah,
she lift his hand?
No. She was like, it was so fucking awesome. The most powerful man in the world has his hand on my ass.
There was nothing. I'd be pissed like the husband.
See, this is what I'm saying. You're a guy.
Oh yeah, I knew.
I'd have been like, well, any girl that I was
And
dating
you have
would
to
have been pissed if
understand.
somebody did
You
that.
have to understand this woman too. She's in the real estate development business as my assistant.
Yeah.
She works with me every day.
Still, that is. I don't know. I'd be on the husband's side. Of
That's
it.
a really good gossip story, though.
That is.
No shit.
I mean,
I never. Told
We're about to see the
anybody that.
Secret Service come in here. And
It was actually
Shut
at
us
the
down.
U.S. Secret Service Bush Protective Division charity golf tournament in 2001. April.
I mean, that's the thing.
Black Horse Country Club.
That's the whole thing about it. Like, what is it?
I'll show you.
What
the
is the
picture.
husband going to do to compete with that? You can't go whoop someone's ass.
No,
That's
you
like,
can't.
You're
yeah,
fucked,
true.
right?
Actually,
like you can't do
what are you
shit.
gonna do?
You can be pissed.
And he's dead is
Can
the
vote
only
for the other
reason I would
side.
That's
even-
right.
I was just
Nope,
gonna say
nope.
he's dead. So,
He's not alive.
It was
Yeah.
oh
and
senior.
so is his wife.
Yeah.
So it's all right.
Yeah, I would not have said that if he was still alive.
Yeah.
I know you wouldn't have. Let's go to a party with Miss Polly.
Oh, we're doing that right now.
Party with Miss Polly.
Oh
Do
boy,
it last time.
I forgot about these questions.
I didn't.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the yes, no, maybe list, and it's the thing you might be missing in sex, or yes, no, maybe if you're into it.
Gino is like,
We're just gonna pick one, you guys.
do
No
this.
pressure.
Gino is
Yep.
dying already.
Come on, Gino's gonna go first.
Let me figure out which one I want, so
Make
I
it
can
good.
make Gino real
Uncomfortable. there.
Gino's sweating.
Try
I'm
this
sweating.
next to your mom and sisters. Sister.
I gotta say that's always been hilarious.
I
The
think we-
dynamic in y'all's relationship is just the comfortable part of it.
Okay, well, this is mostly for the guys, I guess.
Good.
Cock rings. Yes, no, maybe.
So I think the benefit of a cock ring is if,
Of course you know.
I mean, I think that I've never, and this isn't me being arrogant. Like I've never needed one. I know it sounds arrogant to it, but I've never had a problem coming quicker, or I've never had a problem staying hard.
Yeah.
And I've tried them before, and I'm not a fan of them because I feel like it makes me go too long. And I don't think any girl's like, I want a guy to go so fucking long. Like, I think you want it to be normal, but 30 minutes, an hour of just fucking, there's nothing great for anybody at that point. Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah. It's like,
Our gossip girls are here.
yeah, like 10 minutes of like good,
We're good.
intimacy. But other than that,
Gino?
You skipped Raphael.
I was like,
Raphael?
I'm not sure what that is.
Think the smartest man in the room and I are on the same page. So
Well,
I
Thank
feel
you.
a little out of place because I'm like, well,
So-
I've
Thank
never
you.
done it before. So
well,
So you don't need it.
yeah, so you don't need it.
what I would
or
say
I
about
mean, if you've never done it before, maybe you didn't know how bad
They have like vibrating ones.
Yeah,
I only know this.
I've used
Okay.
them a number of times. I just
Well, I
okay.
dated someone who worked in a sex store when I was young, which is so funny because fast forward, then my mom and I start selling sex
that's
toys.
pretty awesome, hilarious. Did you use him as your like person?
No,
for-
actually, you know what's funny is that I would go in there and I would ask the lady all these questions. I was like, "What does this do? And what does this do? And what is this for? And
I
what
can totally see the really hot girl going.
I'll,
like,
I'll,
what does this do?"
I'll say this about those type of things in general,
Mm-hmm.
like Viagra, all that. For me personally, I know that there are some physiological reasons why stuff doesn't work. Like the
For sure.
red light, we helped a guy get off of Lortabs because
even
he was
helps
in the Gulf War and got hit by shrapnel and was addicted to Lortabs because he still had metal in his body. And we were doing 3-hour treatments a day for a week. He not only got off Lortabs, he was able to get an erection. His wife got pregnant, and they named their baby after me.
oh shit!
No
Stop.
shit.
Raphael the Eighth.
Serious. This is serious. I treated his wife was my nurse at the time at the Weston Brooks Laser Clinic in Wichita, Kansas. He was a badass too. He was an ultimate fighter. He was a strong guy, but he was addicted to pain medicine and couldn't get his dick hard.
Yeah.
I feel like
So what I'm saying is there's physiological reasons, then there's mindset reasons. And for me personally, if my conscience doesn't bother me, I don't bother it. And therefore, if my dick gets hard, I fuck.
Got
Oh.
diet can be reasons also.
Like their faces.
Diet can be big reasons also. For
That was
lack of
the next
erection.
quote of the day. He took the table and
I am saying, I feel like adding a new segment.
The Raphael segment.
what is it?
What would Raphael say?
Dude, that's funny.
Like any like the smart things, we need him to come on.
That's pretty funny.
Oh my god.
Raphael, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
what
much.
an unbelievable hour
Thank
we
you
have
so
had
much.
with
Thank
you.
you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
You guys are so
for
much
coming.
fun.
This is awesome.
Thank
That
you
was
for
awesome.
having me.
Thank
I
you
learned a
for coming
lot.
on the
I
show.
you learned all about the erection.
Thank you for
That was
listening.
good.
How many tons are in a pound or
that's
pounds are in a
You can
ton?
now do your drug dealing. You can now do your drug dealing.